1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Hilda. Welcome to exercise number 15. Today we'll be working on spinal rotation. That's right. Most of the time, we will only be talking about spinal flexibility. But in truth, there is no flexibility if there is no rotation. So we're going to take a step back and look at the most fundamental thing of all, which is the rotation of our rib cage that would affect the entire spinal motion. We will be doing a couple of exercises on a mat, after which we will be using the TheraBand to broaden our upper back and rotate our spine at the same time. The first exercise is rather fun. In classical Pilates, it's called rolling like a ball. So imagine your spine like a ball rounded up, and you're just going to roll on the mat. So all my clients and everyone I've taught this to love it because you just feel like a child again doing it. Okay, now from here, come to sitting and have your hands behind your thighs. Make sure you're towards the end of the mat this way so that when you roll, you have space for your back and your head won't be hitting the floor. Okay, and then from here, take an inhalation and you can use a bit of momentum to help you, yeah? Exhale and roll back and up. That's it, rolling like a ball. Now make sure you roll through your pelvis, your lower back, your mid back, and your upper back, and you come up. You don't have to go too low, you just need to go up to your shoulder blades. And I don't suggest you keep your head down and then come up. I suggest you keep your spine round all the way. Okay, let's do 4 consecutive rolls here. Inhale, exhale, and again. The third one again, and the fourth one. Okay, now one thing to bear in mind is the distance between the thighs and your chest. Look at it. Okay, it needs to be this same length no matter how you roll. So what we shouldn't do is this. When you roll, you bring your thighs back to your chest. No. We want to keep the distance because we also want some contraction in the core, in your abdominal. So we roll through the lower back and up, keeping this. Then we are making sure that our spine stays round. Again, let's do 4 more here. Inhale, exhale, and go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That was to warm up our spine. So I don't know about you, but I feel my spine having a slight tingling, warm feeling. If you don't have it yet, I suggest you go roll a few more rounds. You can do this as often as you like, first thing in the morning, before you go to bed at night, etc. It's actually really good for us and it's really fun to do. Now, from here, we are going to continue to warm up the spine. We're going to do rolling like a ball, but in a slower pace, which means it takes a bit more core strength to do it because we're going to be more controlled, okay? Again, distance you want to keep between the thighs and the chest. Don't bring the legs close to you. Take an inhalation, exhale, and curl down. Up to here, inhale, exhale, and up. Slower, deliberate, nevertheless, you're still rolling your spine on the mat. Try not to use too much momentum here. You are using your spinal articulation to help you roll on the mat. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, inhale, and inhale. exhale to roll down, and inhale to come up. And now, time to bring in more rotation. So again, we want to sit a little bit closer to this way. Okay, and then from here, you're just going to roll down and have your legs up like this in tabletop. Okay, and from here, you're going to have your hands behind the head. We're going to work on a crisscross, but not the full movement, reaching out to the outside of the right thigh, this way. The range of motion is so small, so from the camera, I might not even look like I am doing anything, but there's a lot going on. Look, I am slicing. And look at the position of my nose. It's in line with the fingers, yeah? Again, a reminder, do not do this. Because if you do this, actually nothing is happening in your obliques muscles and nothing much is happening in terms of rotating your rib cage. We want to reach this way. Small range of motion, but a lot is happening. My obliques are already firing, and I could feel this part of my rib cage getting warmer and warmer. 2 more times. 1 and 2. Have your hands behind the head and reach to the other side. You can see from this angle, I'm going diagonal, just slicing. You can see my rib cage, they are not moving that much. They are reaching diagonal. Fingers are a good gauge of your direction. You want to reach the fingers in the opposite diagonal direction here. And have your hands behind the head. Slowly bring it down. When my ribs go diagonal, I'm actually working on a cross section. And the cross section is actually going to rotate my ribs this way, and likewise here, my ribs are rotating in the other diagonal direction. That little bit of rotating movement does a lot to mobilize our rib cage. That is why this movement is so important and helpful in giving us rib cage mobility and ultimately spinal mobility. Okay, now I'm going to show it to you from sideways, but I'm also going to show you from the front a little bit later. Now open up your legs and make sure the distance is wider than mat. You don't have to open it up so big, but it does need to be somewhat of a 45-degree angle. Okay, wider than the mat. Bring out your TheraBand, and if you don't have a TheraBand at home, you can also use a towel. But like I've mentioned before, investing in one is actually really helpful, because you can use this in bazillion ways to work on posture, upper body, and so many other things. Okay, now hold it up, and we are going to put it across our upper back and pull it till your arms are straight. Now, your pelvis is fixated because we've got two pelvic halves on the floor, and we're not moving the pelvis. We are rotating our rib cage or our thoracic spine here. But look, I'm sure you can tell from the camera that my pelvis is staying put. It's just the rib cage that is turning. And coming back to center. Important fact, lead with your eyes. For this movement, less is more. Again, it may not look like you are turning a lot, but you are doing a lot for your rib cage and your spinal rotation. Let's do one more set here. Inhale, and let's do it with the going from the left side first. Exhale. Inhale to slowly come back to the center. Exhale and start to turn the opposite way. In this case, is the right side. Inhale and exhale to come back. And slowly release. You might ask, what if I can't straighten my legs? You can bend. And what if I find difficulty sitting straight on the floor? You can always raise your sit bones by sitting on a low chair. It's good. Yoga blocks, or you can stack books. Give yourself some height so that you are able to sit fairly comfortably with a fairly straight spine. So what we don't want is a very hunchback. If this compromises your spine because you're seated on the floor, you can raise it, okay, with books or yoga block or any prop that you might have. You can also sit on a low chair, as mentioned. Let's finish up with standing. Have your TheraBand stretch out to the front, so it's wider than my shoulder width, and I'm just going to pull to make it even wider. You will feel the back of your upper back, which is the area around your scapula, activated. And then from here, you're going to take an inhalation, exhale like just now, leading with your eyes, turning your spine, your thoracic spine, particularly to the right. Leading with your eyes, come back to the center, and now you're going to rotate to the left. You can do it a little bit faster than what you did just now. I said to do it slowly just now, but for this one, you can do a little bit faster, only because your spine is probably more mobile right now. And coming back to the center, inhale, exhale, and go to the other side. Now, what do we need to remember here? It's the pelvis. As we turn, make sure we don't twist the pelvis too much. A little bit of twisting is allowed, but the emphasis is still the rib cage. So as you turn, try not to end up doing this. Look at my pelvis, it's literally facing sideways. Not so ideal, because when you do that, you're not actually turning your rib cage. So kind of have your pelvis more or less where it is, and you're just turning the rib cage. It will shift a little bit, but not too much, okay? Come back to the center again. So look, as I turn to my left, my right hip is kind of facing diagonal. That's okay, that's as far as it's allowed to go. Again, make sure it doesn't end up here. And if you feel restricted up to here, without turning the pelvis, you can't go more to the left, never mind, then you just don't need to turn so much, decrease the range of motion. Let's finish up with a side bend here. Have your TheraBand overhead like that. Stand with your legs hip width apart. You're going to reach both arms up. Inhale, exhale, and just side bend to your right. And make sure both arms are pulling equally, that you're not collapsing to the right, though you're side bending right. Come back to the center. Inhale, exhale, reach and side bend left. Both arms pulling equally. When you're side bending left, make sure your right arm is extra active in pulling, creating the tension that you need to lengthen out the side body and also opening up the rib cage area that's under your armpits. To the center, exhale to the left. This feels so good. I hope you're doing it with me. Come back to center. One more each side here. Reach and see if you can side bend more. Let's just side bend to the right. Make sure your left foot is planted on the floor. We don't want your left foot lifting. We don't want your left hip lifting. And come back up. Keep the tension with both arms here, especially the opposite arm last time to the left. and come back up. That's all I have for exercise 15, spinal rotation, ribcage rotation. I hope you find this content helpful, that you are trying out some of the exercises that were done in the previous 21 posture exercise series. And if you have any questions regarding the exercises or comment about how you feel, do leave me a comment in the section below. I'd love to hear from you. Else, if you like more content like this, do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would so appreciate it if you join me in growing it. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for your participation, and see you in exercise number 16. Thank you. Have a great day.